Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, the weekly national report on thoroughbred racing, is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Thrifty Car Rental. Thrifty is a lot of car rental company for incredibly little. By Lane's End Farm, sponsor of the Thoroughbred Digest Trainer of the Month Award. And by the Naira Net, the New York Racing Association simulcasting network.
And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln with all the top races and major stories of the week in thoroughbred racing. The headline story, the loss of the early classic prospect Grand Canyon. Well, Grand Canyon made racing headlines at the end of 1989 when he won the $1 million Hollywood Futurity, going the mile in 1:33 flat, the fastest ever run by a 2-year-old in North American racing history. Despite getting the most first-place votes, he lost out to Rhythm for the juvenile colt Eclipse Award. But he was the solid winter book favorite to win the Kentucky Derby this May. But an injury has ended all that, and our West Coast correspondent Mike Willman visited with Grand Canyon's co-owner and trainer Dwayne Lucas to get the story at Santa Anita.
Wayne, tell us about Grand Canyon, the nature of the injury, the symptoms when you first spotted it.
Well, I think the thing stemmed from after the Hollywood Futurity. He had, in pulling up, Angel had said that he had stumbled and hit himself up back of the knee. And, of course, we had a little inflammation there, and we cooled it right out, and there was no problem. Once I put him back into training, I galloped him 18 or 19 days, and then I decided to work him the other day, and he had an excellent work in 48 and change. I was very pleased with that. But in the next couple of days, I noticed that he was carrying a little bit of heat back of the knee and so forth. And so I had our veterinarian scan it and look at it, and they said there was some inflammation there. And what it is, it's an inflammation of the carpal sheath behind the knee. Given the nature of the horse, we decided to stop. I think that we probably could have gone on, cooled it out, but if he'd have been a lesser horse, but being that he is the type of horse he is, we decided to stop on him and give him the time, and that's a tough decision, certainly.
Wayne, at this point, are you categorically ruling out the possibility of a tendon injury?
Yes, because of the scan. We were very careful when we found the inflammation to go ahead and scan the entire leg. And they do an ultrasound scan now where they can tell if there's any damage at all. And then all the ligaments, tendons, and everything were perfect. And that was a big positive thing. And that's was a concern, but it is not anymore. We reduced the inflammation of the sheath, and we're going to be fine.
The Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami Beach, Florida, the site of Friday night's 19th annual Eclipse Awards dinner, honoring the champions of 1989. The formal black tie affair hosted by actor John Forsythe, attended by some of racing's top stars, including Dr. Ernest Gaylord and Charlie Whittingham and Arthur Hancock, the team that campaigned Horse of the Year, Sunday Silence. In his acceptance remarks, Hancock summed up Sunday Silence's long, hard road to the Horse of the Year Gold Eclipse Award.
There's an old saying, fortune favors the brave, and this makes me think of Sunday Silence. He overcame a terrible illness as a weanling, the fact that nobody wanted him, an overturned van, and that magnificent horse Easy Goer in order to get this most coveted of awards, Horse of the Year. Thank you, Sunday Silence.
After the ceremony, we spoke with Charlie Whittingham, who also won the Eclipse for Outstanding Trainer. He talked about his plans for the return of Sunday Silence.
Well, we'll start him pretty soon. I was going to start him about the 15th. I might wait till first of next month. Another couple of weeks won't hurt him. And all the big races are in the fall, the Breeders' Cup, and which is a finale of the whole affair all year. And so we just hope he comes back as good. I think he'll come back better.
Well, the 2-year-old champion Rhythm is returning to the races. That's going to be our feature race of the week. When we come back, we'll look at the Hutcheson Stakes. So stay with us.
It's just a pure and natural beer for you. So icy cold, so crisp, so clean for you.
Of all the beers that are cold filtered, only one has that distinctively clean, crisp taste. Budweiser, cold filtered and Beechwood aged for over 110 years.
this buzz for you.
Among the 16 stallions at Lane's End is Fapiano, who consistently ranks among the leading North American sires. Sired by two-time leading sire Mr. Prospector, Fapiano was a multiple graded stakes winner and himself led both the juvenile and freshman sire lists with his first crop. Currently siring almost 25% black-type horses from starters, Fapiano is the sire of Grade 1 winners Crypto Clearance, Tasso, Tapiano, Aptostar, and Some Romance. Leading sire Fapiano at Lane's End Farm, Versailles, Kentucky.
You ever notice what you get first when you rent a car at most airports? A bus. So why not go where you can rent a new car and save money? Take the bus to Thrifty Car Rental.
Enjoy luxury and savings. Rent a new Chrysler 5th Avenue with unlimited mileage, just $36.95 a day. 72-hour advance reservation required.
Thrifty, a lot of car rental company. For incredibly little. Call 1-800-for-cars. Who's he doing now?
Just minutes from Santa Anita, one of the premier sales events of 1990 will be conducted. Barrett's selected sale of 2-year-olds in training. Outstanding racing prospects offered by the nation's finest 2-year-old in training consigners will be sold at the new Barrett's sales complex. The catalog features a broad selection of sires and distaff families from which to choose. For catalogs and information, contact Barrett's.
Let's get right to the track for our Breeders' Cup feature race of the week.
This week's feature race is brought to you by the Breeders' Cup, promoting racing year-round with the Breeders' Cup Budweiser Special Stakes Program, the new Premium Stakes Program, and Breeders' Cup Day, racing's $10 million championship.
The track is Gulfstream. They'll race the Hutcheson Stakes, a stepping stone for the 3-year-olds at Grade 3 at 7 furlongs, 75,000 added, 12 in the field, 1 scratch. Let's take a look at the field with jockey assignments and the closing odds. Outdoor Celebrity, Stalker, Dr. Bobby A, Smelly at 7-1. Housebuster at 9-5, Randy Romero, second choice, Sunny Serve, then Kathy's Regal Sun, Fiery Best. Rounding out our field, Rhythm, the 4-5 favorite, the returning juvenile champion of '89 with Craig Perrette, Rowdy Regal with Scratch, Private School, and Yonder. From our first telecast of the Budweiser Racing Across America series for 1990 on ESPN, here's Dave Johnson with the call to the Hutcheson.
And they're off, and Rhythm on the outside along with Private School braking alertly. Along the inside, there goes Stalker charging up. There's a real battle on the front end, and Fiery Best on the extreme outside. Now 5 of them across the track, and Housebuster is between horses and in front by a head. There goes Dr. Bobby A moving through between horses. On the inside, Stalker is right there, Fiery Best along with Sunny Serve. And then it's a gap of 5 lengths back to Smelly, followed on the rail by Kathy's Regal Sun. Rhythm on the outside, Private School, Outdoor Celebrity, and Yonder is far back. 21-4, a quick first quarter as they round the far turn. And Housebuster on the outside leads it by a head. Stalker at the rail is right there, and those 2 match strides midway on the turn. Dr. Bobby A saving ground along the inside, racing third at this point. Out in the middle of the racetrack, Fiery Best is next. Sunny Serve between horses 5th, 3 back to the favorite at the rail. That's Rhythm on the inside. Now as they straighten away in the lane, it's Housebuster with Randy Romero setting sail for home, and in front by 3 lengths. Stalker is in the second spot. On the extreme outside, Smelly coming on, and at the rail, it's Rhythm. And down the stretch they come. Housebuster in front, showing the way to the wire now by 4. Yonder with a late rush at the rail. Housebuster takes it with Randy Romero by...
Housebuster wins at 124-2 by Mount Livermore out of Big Dreams, owned by Robert P. Levy. And we'll take a look inside the Daily Racing Form now for a closer look at this race with Jack Smallwood. Also here from the owner of Housebuster, Bob Levy, president of Thoroughbred Racing Associations.
The Hutcheson Stakes, which is an important prep for the Florida Derby here, is a sprint stake, and it was won by an excellent sprinter, Housebuster. Housebuster, he dueled with the leader at five horses to the head of the stretch, and then he drew off, and then he was getting a little tired at the end, but he stayed there. But The last part of the race was running, I think the last 3/8 were running around 40, which is kind of slow. And Yonder, who finished second, he broke fourth. He dropped way back 15 or 16 lengths off the lead, and he made a real nice run between horses in the stretch, but it really may not have been as good as it looked because the horse in front was coming back to him.
Right now, I think he can be a very, very good sprinter. I've always felt this about this horse. He's got tremendous speed, but he rates, and he'll relax, and he'll do anything you want, and we may go Fountain of Youth, but I would really doubt it right now. I think we're thinking about maybe going maybe Bayshore or Swale and then Lafayette Stakes, and then see from there.
Well, what happened to the Champ Rhythm the morning after the Hutcheson? We went to the Phipps barn to check with assistant trainer Buzzy Tenney on how the Champ Rhythm came back after his disappointing 7th place finish as the race favorite.
Oh, Rhythm came back just fine. He ate his dinner up last night and ate his breakfast this morning. He was good and bright and came out of the stall the right way, and Rhythm's just fine.
Said he came out better at least than another champion did the other day.
Yeah, I understand Tyson took a little bit of the worst of it last night. We came back clean, so I think we're probably pretty lucky.
All right, Buzzy, we'll be back with a look at another top Derby prospect. Get ready for Summer Squall when we return on the Digest.
Unless a first-time starter has outstanding credentials or is a standout in a weak field, it is difficult to recommend them. They win only 20 to 25% of the time and are usually overbet. They may not be worth the risk.
Learn more from the experts. Call 1-800-255-2001 for How to Win at Thoroughbred Racing, a video guide. That's 1-800-255-2001. Call now. Visa or MasterCard accepted.
The Merry Mex is making his mark on the Senior PGA Tour. Lee Trevino joins Arnold Palmer and more all-time favorites at the Etna Challenge. Coverage continues Saturday and Sunday on ESPN.
In the middle of February, a quick review is needed now. Grand Canyon, the Winterbook favorite for the Derby, is out with an injury. Rhythm, the champion, ran poorly in the Hutcheson. So where do we find our Derby contenders? Well, we're going to start a special series this week of top Derby hopefuls. This special feature on Summer Squall, put together by our Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest producer, Dave Bruner.
Thoroughbred racing. At times, it's as unpredictable as the weather itself, especially for the 3-year-olds bound for the Twin Spires of Churchill Downs on the first Saturday in May. So what's in the forecast for this year's Derby contenders? Look closely and you'll see a squall developing in southern Florida, specifically Dogwood Stables' Summer Squall, who's preparing to return for his 1990 Triple Crown campaign. No one awaits that return more anxiously than general partner Cott Campbell and trainer Neil Howard, who saw this son of Stormbird blast through a wall of horses for an impressive win in the 1989 Hopeful Stakes at Saratoga.
It was enormously impressive, and I think a lot of horse people that saw that were really greatly impressed with this horse because he was knocked all around. He was caught in the middle of a terrible traffic jam. A couple of horses almost went down, including him, but he went on and bulled his way through there and went and won the race. And I have never been prouder of a horse. I thought he was magnificent that day.
I think anybody that has a horse do that, you've got to feel pretty good from where you're sitting. I mean, he showed a lot of guts, a lot of heart, and that's what it takes to win big races.
But the hopeful would be Summer Squall's last race of the year. Several weeks later, as the colt was preparing for the Arlington, Washington Futurity, a hairline fracture was discovered in his right front cannon bone, sidelining him for the rest of 1989. It was a big disappointment for Campbell and Howard, but surprisingly, this dark cloud had a silver lining.
I'd rather not had the injury, but it did make us put him away for the winter. We had planned, of course, to run him maybe in the Champaign in New York, and then, of course, in the Breeders' Cup. We couldn't do that, so after 5 starts, we had to call it a day, and we put him away, and that may be a blessing in disguise. He's had a chance to develop over the winter, and he has done that.
So now Summer Squall is back in training, making preparations for a possible trip to Kentucky. But how exactly will trainer Howard get him there?
Well, hopefully the right way. It's, right now our plans are still a little bit up in the air, because as I've told a couple other people, we're coming back from an injury where the horse was completely out of training, as opposed coming back from just a little rest where we were able to keep him in light training. So we had to start from scratch. And we're going to look for 3 or 4 races, hopefully run them a time or 2 down here and possibly go the Kentucky route. But we're still a little bit, you know, open on exactly which races, but we're getting close to mapping it out.
Although the specific plans for Summer Squall's spring campaign are still somewhat vague, the ultimate goal is crystal clear: the Run for the Roses on the first Saturday in May. It's a dream that both men almost hesitate to admit, but still it's one they both definitely share.
Well, I think it means the same to me as it does to any of these other guys. I mean, you know, you don't even really think about it that much, because I say to myself, geez, you know, what am I? It means a lot to have the horse. And it means a lot to have any horse that you feel is a pretty steady, you know, there's a stake horse, not to mention being a Derby horse. You don't even think about it that much, because it means more than you could even put in words, you know.
Well, to run in the Derby would be great. You know, people occasionally say they don't care, but I care, and I would adore running a horse in the Derby. We've resisted the temptation, knowing that in the past it just hasn't been quite the right time for the right horse. But this year, looks like it might be.
Yes, it just might be, because if the Squall continues to grow and develop, he may very well take the historic Churchill Downs and its 116th Kentucky Derby by storm.
Here's the last stop on our tour, the Fountain of Youth.
This one's on me.
How about an ice cold bud, young man?
I love this job.
Illinois thoroughbreds are on a fast track. Since 1981, more than $107.1 million have been won by Illinois registered thoroughbreds racing in the state. The world's finest racing facility, the new Arlington International, is a shining symbol of the present and future for thoroughbreds racing in Illinois. In 1988, state-bred horses earned over $15.6 million from the Illinois Fund, administered by the Department of Agriculture horse racing programs. Race on the fast track. Race in Illinois.
If you weren't part of the New York Racing Association's simulcasting network in 1989, here's some of what you missed.
The entry running 1-2, dancing spree, seeking to go, closing ground, proper reality, to the wire. Open mind closing, open mind on the outside, gains the lead. It's New York's Easy Goer in front.
Don't miss out in 1990. Call us today.
Fun and games in ancient Rome. $2,000 years later, it's still fun and games. And you're invited. Caesar's Palace. Relive the legend.
Race fans in California are talking about Mr. Frisky, the 3-year-old sensation from Puerto Rico, who looks to possibly be trainer Laz Barrera's ticket back to the Kentucky Derby. The Florida-bred colt was a perfect 13 for 13 in Puerto Rico in races at distances up to 1 mile and a 16th. Now take a look at his last 10 races. Note the point of calls, all ones. He was never behind in any part of any of these races. Mr. Frisky made his U.S. debut in the San Vicente Stakes at Santa Anita on Saturday, the second choice at 5-2. For the first time in his career, he's behind the 6 horse on the outside. Here's Trevor Denman.
They come to the quarter pole now, and Tarrason gets the lead, immediately tackled by Mr. Frisky, and these two are starting to turn it into a two-horse race at the top of the lane. It's Tarrason and Chris McCarron on the inside. Mr. Frisky and Gary Stevens stride for stride with an eighth of a mile to go. Mr. Frisky, the wonder horse from Puerto Rico, now gets the lead from Tarrason. A 16th of a mile to go. Mr. Frisky is going to keep his unbeaten record intact as he wins the San Vicente.
Mr. Frisky looks like he's for real. The horse of the year as a 2-year-old in Puerto Rico won the San Vicente in 1:22 3 over a slow track. The last time a 2-year-old was horse of the year in Puerto Rico, he went on to the Triple Crown Wars in the U.S. 1976. Bull Forge, trained by Las Brera, won the Kentucky Derby and the Belmont. Mr. Frisky is a chestnut son of Marseilles, a son of Damascus, out of the mare Frisky Flyer, and was ridden in the San Vicente by Gary Stevens. The colt, purchased in a Florida sale for $15,500, had a send-off by more than 2,000 of his fans in Puerto Rico when he left for the USA. Next, the San Rafael on March 13th and on to the Santa Anita Derby. The next day at Santa Anita bought the return of Calumet Farm San Pasqual winner Criminal Type in the Grade 2 mile-and-8 San Antonio, wearing the devil red silks of Calumet. He's beginning to move on the outside, but watch for the one horse on the rail. The 34-1 long shot stylish winner. It's Corey Black in the irons.
Ruhlman at the rail. Criminal Type up to take him on, and Stylish Winner's just going to need room, but he's full of run if he gets out. Stylish Winner's switched to the grandstand side, and here he comes to take on Criminal Type, but Criminal Type is finding more. Stylish Winner's coming at him. Criminal Type and Stylish Winner. Criminal Type to win it. Criminal Type takes the San Antonio.
Criminal Type proves that the San Pasqual was no fluke. And according to D. Wayne Lucas, he'll most likely now supplement to the $1 million Santa Anita handicap on March 3rd. Lucas had been considering his turf champion Steinland for the big cap. It looks as though Criminal Type will run there instead to carry the colors of Calumet. Now let's go to Oklahoma's Remington Park, and in Oklahoma, racing is doing more than okay. Better than 16,400 fans turned out on Sunday, betting more than $2 million. The feature, the 7-furlong Budweiser Stakes for 3-year-olds. Leading the field down the stretch, Spunky Rascal. He looks to have the Budweiser all wrapped up, but moving from the inside behind horses, John Frank's Native Cat Dance. He then continues his drive right past Spunky Rascal for a length and a half victory. Native Cat Dance is an Illinois-bred son of native royalty out of the mare Cat Dance and is trained by Wayne Castellano. Moving east now, the queen of the New York breds, Grecian Flight, was in Maryland Sunday, the last start of her illustrious career. The $200,000 Grade 3 Barbara Fritchie handicap at 7 furlongs. But in the stretch, Grecian Flight is nowhere to be seen as David Reynolds' Amy Be Good moves to the lead and stays there all the way to the wire. Amy Be Good is a bay filly by Northern Raja out of the mare All for Amy and is trained by Tim Kelly. Second to her was the 114-1 long shot Channel 3. That resulted in a $2 exacta payoff of $1,264.80. Grecian Flight finished back 7th, but retires with 21 wins in 40 starts, career earnings totaling over $1.3 million. She will now be bred to the 1988 Horse of the Year, Ali Sheba, at Lanes Inn Farm. Well, as we go to the break, here's the first edition of the Thoroughbred Racing Communications Weekly Update Poll on our leading Triple Crown contenders. Number 1, Summer Squall.
I'm not the kind of guy to mess with my hair, and I'm sure not going to mess with shampoo and conditioner. So I found an easy way to get my hair the way I want it, with Pert Plus. It's simple. It's complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. I just wash my hair, and Pert Plus leaves it clean, conditioned, and easy to manage. So you don't need 2 bottles of stuff. With Pert Plus, you just wash and go.
Pert Plus cleans and conditions in just one step.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Dianetics by L. Ron Hubbard. Pick up a copy today wherever paperbacks are sold.
Rossi Bramble, former world champion. His comeback continues as he defends his North American Junior welterweight title against Santo Cardona. Budweiser presents Top Rank Boxing, Sunday night, live on ESPN. You're watching ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
Let's update the search for our lanes in train of the month of February. Stakes winners this week included Rusty Arnold with NASCAR's return in the red-treated Aqueduct. Laz Brera, you saw his Mr. Frisky win the San Vicente. Jimmy Kroll with Housebuster in the winner's circle at Hutcheson Stakes. And Dwayne Lucas got his second stakes win of the month with Criminal Type in the San Antonio Handicap. It's time now for Dave Johnson in Horse Talk with 89's Eclipse Award-winning jockey and his agent ready to start their West Coast riding career this week. Here's Dave.
Talking horses here on the West Coast with Gene Short and Kent DeSormo. First of all, Gene, agent for Kent DeSormo, what were the decisions and what went into making your decision to come here to the West Coast with Kent?
Well, we took a couple of trips out here, and the weather's great. In New York, weather's a little colder, and the response we got was just phenomenal, so we thought we'd give it a chance.
So it narrowed down between New York and California and LA1.
Right, LA1, right.
Do you think it's going to be tough for you to break in here, though, as an agent?
Well, I tell you, it's the same thing as if I had gone to the East Coast or stayed in Maryland. A jockey has the things he has to do, and an agent has to do what he has to do, and Kent and me are real good as a team, and most of the agents have accepted me pretty well and made friends with me, so I think it's, when we went to Maryland, we didn't know anybody, and we probably know more people here than we did when we went to Maryland, so I think I'll fit in here pretty good.
Well, let's talk to the jock end of this team. First of all, congratulations on the Eclipse Award. How do you top that, Kent?
Most prestigious award there is to be honored with in the equine world, I believe. It's just an honor to be here and to be a part of the racing, and the colony and the people that I was chosen over is people that I dreamed of riding with, much less win an award over.
Now you've moved your tack to Southern California. Kent, do you expect to break into a jockey colony, arguably the best in the world, with McCarran and Delahousie and Pinkai and the rest? You expect to be on that list?
Absolutely. I think we have great expectations from California. The trainers have been tremendously, nice in all fashion. They have already accepted us. Mr. Whittingham was a gentleman this morning to us, and here we are expecting to be that to him, and it looks great. I think we're one of these, where we belong with these people, and we'll be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. The best of luck. Kent DeSormo, his agent Gene Short. We're talking horses in Southern California, and we'll be talking somewhere else next week.
Kent was to have his first ride on Valentine's Day. We'll keep you updated on how Kent DeSormo does. Of course, he set the record last year. More wins than any other rider in racing history with 597. Also from the riding colony, good news, Lafitte Pinkai Jr. injured in that benefit harness race a few weeks ago with a broken collarbone, is back on the track exercising horses and is scheduled to ride Saturday. Looks like he'll be on Bayacoa on Sunday, the champion mare in the Santa Margarita Handicap. That's the big race coming up this weekend. And we'll see you next week with all the racing news and other top Derby contender on the Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest. So long, everyone.
Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest, the weekly national report on thoroughbred racing, has been brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By the Breeders' Cup, racing's $10 million championship. By the Illinois Department of Agriculture, promoting Illinois registered horses year-round. And by Caesars Palace Las Vegas, relive the legend. Ground transportation provided by Thrifty Car Rental. For reservations at over 700 locations worldwide, call Thrifty at 1-800-4CARS. Statistics courtesy of the Daily Racing Form, America's Turf Authority.